Welcome to the Property Wealth Podcast, where we explore the ins and outs of real estate investing for folks over 40.
That's right, Sarah. Today we're focusing on a topic that's super important for many of our listeners: real estate for retirement planning.
Absolutely. As we get older, thinking about a comfortable retirement becomes more crucial, right?
Exactly. And real estate can be a powerful tool in that journey.
We'll be diving into how investing in properties can not only provide a steady income stream, but also build long-term wealth.
And we'll talk about the different types of real estate investments that might suit your retirement goals.
Plus, we'll share some practical tips on how to get started, even if you think you're a bit late to the game.
And of course, we'll touch on some common pitfalls to avoid, ensuring your path to retirement is as smooth as possible.
So whether you're looking to downsize, invest, or just curious about how real estate can fit into your retirement plan, stay with us.
Let's jump right in and start exploring how real estate can work for you. Sarah, when we talk about retirement planning, it's really crucial to think about how our timelines have shifted. People are living longer, right? So someone who's 40 today could easily be looking at 30 years or more in retirement.
Absolutely, and that's a big chunk of time. It makes you wonder, how do we ensure that our money lasts that long?
Exactly, and real estate can play a key role in that. Consider this. If you invest in property now, by the time you retire, you could have significant equity built up, right?
Right, and with the way inflation is going, just relying on savings or traditional investments might not cut it anymore.
Spot on. A few years back, a client of mine, let's call him Tom, was really worried about his retirement savings. He had a decent amount saved up, but with inflation creeping up, he felt like it was just sitting there, losing value.
Yeah, that's a real concern. What did he do?
Well, Tom decided to invest in a rental property. It wasn't an overnight success, but over time, the property appreciated significantly, and he started earning rental income. Now, he feels more secure knowing that he has a tangible asset that's likely to keep up with or outpace inflation.
That's a great example. It's like he turned his worries into an opportunity.
Exactly. And it's not just about making money either. It's about building a safety net. For many people over 40, the emotional side of financial security is huge. Knowing you have a solid plan can really ease the stress that comes with planning for the future.
Totally. I think about how many families are looking at wealth transfer these days.
Right. And real estate can be a powerful tool for that. Just recently, I worked with a couple, let's call them Linda and Mark. They wanted to ensure that whatever they built in their lifetime could benefit their children and grandchildren.
What did they do?
They invested in a multifamily property. Their strategy was to not only generate income, but also create a legacy, something that could be passed down. The idea is that their kids can either keep it as an investment or sell it when the time is right.
That sounds smart. It's like they're thinking 2 steps ahead, not just for themselves, but for their family.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the current economic trends. With rising interest rates and changing market dynamics, having a physical asset can provide stability. Real estate often acts as a hedge against economic uncertainty.
That's a good point. So let's say someone is in their 40s or 50s, and they're thinking about entering the real estate market now. What do you think they should consider?
Well, first off, they should definitely look at their current financial situation and retirement goals. It's important to have a clear understanding of how much they can invest without overextending themselves.
And perhaps considering the location?
Absolutely. Location plays such a huge role in property value. Markets can be very different, even within the same city. I always encourage people to research areas that show growth potential, like up-and-coming neighborhoods.
Right, and also think about what kind of property they want.
Yes! Whether it's a single-family home, a condo, or a multifamily unit, each has its own pros and cons. For example, multifamily properties might provide better cash flow, but they also come with a bit more management responsibility.
That's true. It's all about weighing those options and figuring out what aligns with your lifestyle and goals.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the emotional side of it all. The peace of mind that comes from owning property can't be overstated.
Yeah, it can feel pretty empowering to have something you can physically touch and manage as opposed to just stocks or bonds.
Right. And the beauty of real estate is that it's not just about the numbers. It's about creating a home, a place where families can gather, memories are made, and ultimately a foundation for future generations.
That's so true. I think that's why so many people find real estate investing so fulfilling beyond just the financial aspect.
Exactly. And when you factor in the current economic climate, rising costs, potential market shifts, it becomes even more important to have a diversified portfolio.
So what would you say is the biggest takeaway for our listeners?
Well, I'd say that for anyone over 40, now is a great time to start thinking about how real estate can fit into their retirement strategy. It's not just about the investment. It's about creating security, legacy, and a plan that adapts to our changing world.
And with that mindset, it really opens up a lot of possibilities, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Now, speaking of possibilities, let's dive into some core strategies that can help make real estate investing a viable option for those looking to secure their future. So, when we're looking at real estate for retirement planning, one of the first things to consider is the 1% rule.
Right, the 1% rule. Can you break that down for us?
Sure. Essentially, the 1% rule suggests that you should aim for a rental property to generate at least 1% of its purchase price in monthly rent. So, if you buy a property for $200,000, you'd want to make at least $2,000 a month in rent.
That makes sense. It's a quick way to gauge whether a property is worth looking into further.
Exactly. But it's not the only metric to consider. It's just a good starting point.
I've heard about the 50% rule too. What's that one about?
The 50% rule is a bit different. It's about estimating your operating expenses. A good rule of thumb is that about 50% of your rental income will go towards expenses, like maintenance, property management, taxes, and so on.
So, if you're making that $2,000 a month from our $200,000 property...
Right, so you'd expect to spend around $1,000 a month on those expenses. That leaves you with about $1,000 as your net income.
Got it. And that's before factoring in mortgage payments, right?
Yes, that's correct. Once you add in your mortgage payment, you'll get a clearer picture of your cash flow.
And what about cap rates? I've heard that term thrown around a lot.
Cap rate, or capitalization rate, is another important metric. It's calculated by taking the property's net operating income and dividing it by the property's purchase price. So if that property generates $12,000 a year in net income and costs $200,000, the cap rate would be 6%.
So that's $12,000 divided by $200,000, right?
Exactly. A higher cap rate generally indicates a better return on investment, but you have to consider the risks associated too.
Yeah, it's all about balancing those returns with potential risks, I guess.
Absolutely. And when evaluating a deal, I always recommend a checklist.
A checklist? Like a list of criteria to evaluate properties?
Exactly. You want to look at location, property condition, potential for appreciation, and, of course, your financing options.
Speaking of financing, what are some common options for investors, especially those of us over 40?
Well, traditional mortgages are always an option, but you might also consider using a HELOC or home equity line of credit if you own your own home. That can give you access to cash without selling your property.
That sounds like a smart move. Are there any downsides to using a HELOC?
Definitely. The variable interest rates can be a risk, and you're putting your home on the line if you can't repay it. So you have to be careful and manage that risk well.
What about cash purchases? Is that practical for most people?
Cash purchases can eliminate the hassle of financing, but you need to have significant capital available. It's a great way to avoid interest payments, but it ties up your cash.
Right, which could be used elsewhere.
Exactly. And that's why a lot of investors choose to finance properties, especially if they're looking to build a larger portfolio over time.
So let's talk about property types. What do you think are the best options for someone investing for retirement?
Well, single-family homes are often a great starter option, mainly because they appeal to a wide range of renters. But you might also consider multifamily properties.
Multifamily properties, like duplexes or triplexes.
Exactly. They can provide multiple income streams, which is great for cash flow. Plus, you can benefit from economies of scale when it comes to maintenance and management.
That's a good point. And how about commercial properties?
Commercial can be lucrative, but they come with their own set of challenges. Usually longer leases, but also potential vacancies can be longer.
So it's like a trade-off, right?
Absolutely. You want to choose a type of property that aligns with your investment goals and your risk tolerance.
And what about markets? How do you choose the right market for investing?
Look for markets with strong job growth, population growth, and a balanced supply and demand for rental properties. A growing economy usually leads to a healthy rental market.
Are there specific indicators you check when evaluating a market?
Definitely. I look at employment rates, average rent prices, vacancy rates, and even future development plans in the area.
Those all sound like solid criteria.
They are! And don't forget to network, too. Connect with local real estate agents or attend community meetings to get a feel for the market.
That makes a lot of sense. So as we wrap up this section, what should we keep in mind as we start looking at properties?
Well, remember to stay organized and disciplined. Use those rules of thumb as a guideline, but also do your due diligence on each property.
It's all about being informed and making smart choices.
Exactly. And let's not forget, there are common pitfalls to avoid as well.
Right. We should definitely dive into those next.
So, one of the biggest pitfalls I see, especially with investors who are just starting out, is over-leveraging. It's tempting to think, I can buy more property if I just take out a bigger loan, but it can really backfire.
Right. It sounds great in theory, but what happens when the market shifts or you face unexpected costs?
Exactly. I had a client once who bought a couple of properties, really stretching his finances to the limit. He was counting on rental income to cover the mortgage, but then, one of the properties had a major plumbing issue. He ended up in a tight spot, struggling to keep up with the payments.
Ouch! That's a tough situation. So it sounds like a lot of stress could have been avoided with a more conservative approach, right?
Definitely. It's crucial to have a buffer, Aim for properties that you can comfortably manage, even if unexpected costs come up. You want to sleep well at night, not worry about every little expense.
Speaking of expenses, what about bad tenants? That's a big one too, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. A friend of mine, she rented out her first investment property to someone who seemed perfect on paper. Great job, references checked out. But once they moved in, they were consistently late with rent payments, and then they stopped paying altogether.
Wow, that must have been frustrating.
It really was. She had to go through the whole eviction process, which is not only stressful but also costly. The lesson here is to be thorough in your tenant screening. Don't just rely on the application. Check their rental history, and maybe even meet them in person if you can.
That makes sense. And what about cash flow? I think a lot of people ignore that aspect until it's too late.
Exactly. I know another investor who bought a property that looked like a steal, but the cash flow just didn't add up. They were so focused on the potential appreciation that they overlooked the ongoing costs, like maintenance fees, property management, and taxes.
So they had this beautiful property, but it wasn't bringing in enough money?
Right. And they ended up having to sell it at a loss just to get out of the financial strain. It's key to run the numbers and understand what your actual cash flow will be.
And timing the market is another common mistake, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. A lot of people think they can time their purchase to coincide with market highs and lows, but honestly, that's a risky game.
I mean, it's almost impossible to predict, isn't it?
Exactly. I had a client who waited for what they thought was the perfect moment to buy, but in the meantime, property prices just kept rising. They ended up missing out on a great investment opportunity because they were trying to play the market.
That must have been frustrating.
For sure. Instead, I always recommend focusing on long-term strategies rather than trying to time the market. If the numbers make sense and the property fits your investment criteria, that's what matters most.
And then there are those hidden costs, right?
Oh yeah, those can really sneak up on you. A colleague of mine bought a property that appeared to be in great shape, but after a few months, they realized it needed a new roof and some serious electrical work.
That's a huge expense.
Yeah, and they didn't factor that into their initial budget. It's important to do a thorough inspection before buying, and also to set aside funds for maintenance and unexpected repairs.
So it sounds like being proactive can save investors a lot of headaches.
Absolutely. Spotting red flags early is crucial. If a property has been on the market for a long time, or if the seller seems desperate, those can be warning signs.
Definitely. It's all about doing your homework, right?
Yes, and having a good team around you can help too. Real estate agents, inspectors, and even financial advisors can provide insights that you might not think about on your own.
So if someone has made these mistakes, what can they do to recover or avoid them in the future?
Well, first off, don't beat yourself up about it. Real estate is a learning process. If you've over-leveraged, it might be time to reevaluate your finances and consider selling one of your properties, or refinancing to lower your monthly expenses.
That sounds like a smart approach.
And if you've had bad tenants, take it as a learning experience. Consider adjusting your screening process next time, or even investing in property management services to help find reliable tenants.
Great idea. And for cash flow issues, I guess it's important to revisit your budget and find ways to increase it, like raising rents if the market allows or even adding value to the property.
Exactly. And remember, it's about building a sustainable portfolio. Long-term success comes from being adaptable and learning from past experiences.
Well said, Mike. It's all about making informed decisions and not letting one setback define your real estate journey.
Right. And keeping your focus on the bigger picture. That's what will ultimately help you build wealth over time.
Absolutely. So for our listeners, if they take away anything from today, it's to be diligent, informed, and resilient in their investing journey.
Couldn't have put it better myself.
Well, thank you for sharing those insights, Mike. There's so much value in learning from real-life experiences, and I think our listeners will really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Sarah. Always happy to help. So let's dive into some practical steps you can take right now. It can be a bit daunting, but if you start small, it really becomes manageable.
Absolutely, Mike. One of the best things you can do is to just begin analyzing deals. I recommend setting a goal to analyze one deal per week. It gets you in the habit of looking at the numbers and understanding what makes a good investment.
That's a great point. And while you're doing that, you might want to check out some tools like the BiggerPockets calculator. It's user-friendly and helps you run the numbers on potential properties. You can plug in your estimated costs and see if the property meets your investment criteria.
Oh, for sure. And if you're trying to figure out rental prices, Rentometer is a fantastic resource. You can see what similar properties are renting for in your area, and that gives you a clearer picture of your potential cash flow.
Right, and don't forget about Zillow and local MLS access. They're great for getting an overview of the market. Zillow has a lot of data on property history, which can be really insightful.
Yeah, and while you're at it, a good habit is to join a local real estate meetup. It's a fantastic way to network and learn from others who are on a similar journey. You'd be surprised at how many resources and tips you can get just by chatting with fellow investors.
Exactly. And if you're looking for more structured learning, there are some excellent books out there. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a classic that really shifts your mindset about money and investing. Also, the book on rental property investing by Brandon Turner is super practical for anyone looking to get into rentals.
Those are both excellent recommendations. And for podcasts, aside from ours, I'd suggest listening to BiggerPockets podcast. They have a lot of real-world stories and case studies that can inspire you.
Definitely. And don't underestimate the power of social media. Following real estate investors on platforms like Instagram or Twitter can provide daily motivation and tips. Just be sure to filter out the noise and focus on those who offer genuine advice.
Right. And while you're getting into the habit of analyzing deals and following these resources, it's also important to set some clear goals. Think about what you want to achieve with your real estate investments. Is it cash flow, appreciation, or something else? Write it down.
Yes, and keep it visible. Maybe stick it on your fridge or in your office. It'll serve as a constant reminder of what you're working toward.
And remember, it's all about starting where you are. You don't need to have it all figured out from the get-go. Just take that first step, and then the next will become clearer.
Absolutely. And as you start analyzing those deals, make sure to take notes. What did you like about a property? What didn't work for you? This reflection will help you refine your criteria over time.
Oh, and if you can, consider finding a mentor or a coach. Having someone who's been down the path you want to take can provide invaluable insights and keep you accountable.
Yes, And even if you can't find a mentor right away, try to connect with someone in your local community, maybe a real estate agent or an experienced investor. They can guide you through the initial steps and help you avoid common pitfalls.
And speaking of avoiding pitfalls, always do your due diligence. Research the neighborhoods, look at crime rates, school districts, and future developments. Understanding the market is crucial.
Well said. And to make it easier, you can create a checklist for each property you analyze. Include factors like location, price per square foot, potential rent, and estimated repairs. This way, you can quickly compare properties and make informed decisions.
That's a great idea. And don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. If you're comfortable, consider attending open houses or even scheduling viewings. Getting out there and seeing properties in person can really deepen your understanding.
Exactly. And remember to keep your emotions in check. It's easy to fall in love with a property, but you have to stick to your investment criteria.
Right. And as you build your confidence, you might find yourself ready to make offers. Just take it one step at a time and don't rush into anything.
Well, with all these tools and habits, you're really setting yourself up for success. So those are some practical first steps. Now, let's bring this all together. So as we wrap up today's conversation, let's quickly recap some of the key takeaways from our discussion on real estate for retirement planning.
Yeah, definitely. One big point was the importance of starting early, right? The sooner you dive into real estate investing, the more you can benefit from compounding growth over time.
Exactly. And then there's the value of diversifying your investment portfolio. It's not just about having one property. Spreading out your investments can really help manage risk.
Right, and I really liked what we said about understanding your cash flow. Knowing how much income your properties generate can give you a clearer picture of your financial health and future retirement plans.
Absolutely. And let's not forget about leveraging too. Using financing wisely can amplify your returns, making your money work harder for you.
Yes, it's all about smart strategies and making informed decisions. Building wealth through real estate isn't just a dream. It's really achievable with the right approach.
For sure. And, if you're over 40 and thinking about this, it's never too late to start. Real estate can be a powerful tool for creating long-term wealth and security for your future.
So if you found today's episode helpful, we'd love for you to like, subscribe, and maybe drop a comment sharing your biggest takeaway or any questions you might have.
Yeah, and definitely share this episode with someone who might be thinking about investing in property. You never know who could benefit from this information.
And just a little teaser for next time, we'll be diving into building generational wealth with property. It's going to be a fascinating discussion.
Can't wait for that.
Thanks for joining us today.
Take care, everyone.
Bye for now.